Like there is a business model to this in the
What I
sense.
liked is all that information you gave us about Roswell and the JFK and all the linking up. Is this is not new. This has been going on for 40, 50, 60, 100 years. It's
100
basically been
years,
going,
yeah.
and you it goes back to the turning of the 1900s too. And that's the reason they came up with the Fed and all that stuff. And that's when it really started taking off heat because
Yeah,
they wanted to have
Wilson.
more. Yeah, they came
Yeah.
up with a company, entity called the Fed that is nothing to do with the federal government, and they own nothing, but they control everything. It's just, oh,
Well,
it's just
yeah, and there's some major, and there were some preliminary work done on this. But Scott Bessent wrote something in the Wall Street Journal. He basically said the Fed's gain of function was the title of the article. And I'm trying to find it, but it was, and Scott Bessent is like a billionaire from this, like he worked for Soros, like in mergers and acquisition, like he knows how these plays are done. He is scary intelligent. Like I really, I'm not sure, like, I don't know if, like, I don't really see the world in good guys and bad guys anymore. Like it's just, that's too simplistic. It's more of look, we're getting a new world order one way or the other, right? Like you're either, it's just what's jump ball right now is what's the model of that going to be. And
the thing that you were talking a couple weeks ago about the London and how it was all tied in with the Dutch. And I was reading an article today, just today, where he's going against the international shipping conglomerate over in London that controls all the shipping, and they're trying to. Did you hear about that?
no, I didn't.
Let me see
Bessent?
let me see what it is.
I mean, I'm sure. Look, the way I see the world being set up right now is that we're going to war with Europe. We're at war with Europe right now, is what it looks like. Because the European parasite that
The International Maritime Organization, based in London.
So we're bigfooting them and saying, yeah, screw your admiralty law. We're taking over the seas. We rule it anyway. Is that the idea?
Well, they're
That's
trying
true.
to. They're trying to. I watched this guy called "What's Going On in Shipping" because if you can watch what's going on in shipping, you get an idea of what the economy's doing.
Yes.
Stay more. I've looked at for the last 3 or 4 years. I've watched what's going on shipping. Well, when you're in trucking, you want to know what's going on in volumes. Like what part of how do you want to align yourself? You can kind of give an estimate of what building is going to be taking place and what kind of stuff you want to contract on with where the market's going. So I always watch like train shipping, the shipments on like Union Pacific. They have, because they're a publicly traded company, they have to disclose what their freight volumes are and all that stuff. And with the FRA, they got to disclose all that stuff. And then, so about a year and a half ago, I started watching this guy, what's going on in shipping, and he explains like the shipping port, the shipping stuff and all that other stuff. And they're trying to get the international maritime organizations trying to take over get rid of a lot of the emissions on the ocean. There's two entities that are fighting that because, well, one. No, I said that wrong. The United States wants it to kind of maintain the status quo, and China wants them to go to this alternate source because they're trying to get make all the shipping stuff because they run bunker C, which is like a really heavy crude oil, and you can run that through a diesel engine. When you have these really huge engines, you get them really, really hot, and then you can run bunker C, which is like cheap crap. It's the same stuff they used to run in all the steam engines. And they're trying to get over to running these engines on ammonia, and they're trying to get them to run over on liquefied propane or LPG or liquefied whatever. And what I thought was interesting is the idea of running this ammonia product through there, and who has the largest source of ammonia manufacturing for running these big engines is China. So China is trying to get all these guys to come in and take over the maritime, get them to change the maritime rules so all the people will modernize their ships. And the number one thing China is in is manufacturing of ships. They lead the world in ship manufacturing, so it benefits them too. Plus, they also control the largest sources of ammonia production. And so Trump is like, no, we're not going to play in this game. And so they're getting ready to sign off on, basically change. They want this zero emissions bullshit, and they're trying to do carbon capture, and they want to do carbon credits for all these zero emission ships to kind of run all the high emission stuff out, which then led me down the rabbit hole of, well, why would they want to do this, and what's the unforeseen effect of what happens when they change the way these ships are polluting. And the reason they can tie, I was reading an article that they can tie the increased volume of hurricanes based on the zero emission standards put out by the ships on the Atlantic Oceans, because the amount of pollution going up allows more radiation to hit the ocean surface, which is increasing ocean's temperature. Does that make sense?
It's the first time I'm hearing about it, so I'm like, okay.